where do I even begin? What a year. So my 6-year-old decided that when she was at the playground, swinging super high like she normally does. I don't blame her. I used to do that when I was little too. She decided this time to jump off while she was going super high and literally landed like 10 feet from the swing. And it was so crazy. So I kind of do like a triangle thing when I'm at a playground. If I have the 3 littles, triangles, I go to like the main point of a triangle. And I tried where all my kids are kind of in that triangle so I can visually see all my kids just by scanning the area. And so I had just seen her swinging real high. I was like, way to go. And then my 8-year-old comes and she goes, Mom, I think a bug peed on me. And I'm like, that is so random. And so she's like, I feel wetness here. I heard like a something. And it took all of me not to laugh. And I was just really like showing her my concern, like, okay, a bug just peed on you. Okay. And I go and I hear this unusual whimpering. And I look to my left and there is my daughter, my 6-year-old, face first on the ground, but her hands were underneath her and her knees were on the ground. Kind of like in a fetal position, but face down. And I just knew, I go, oh my goodness, she broke something. I could just tell because as parents, we know our kids' fake cries. We know their hysterical cries. We know their whimpers. And we just know when something is off cry. And that was something that was off. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I grabbed her. She's like, my arm hurts. And so I was like, okay, we're leaving. We got in the car. I text my husband. This is what happened. And I think she broke something. Fast forward, we get home. She can't even move her arm. She's like in tears and we're trying to wrap it so we can get inside. And, by the grace of God, God is so good. We called the ortho because, she broke her arm 2 years ago. So, and that was the same arm. So we're like, oh my goodness, did she re-fracture? Like, we didn't even know at that point. And my husband called the ortho. And can you believe, by the grace of God, we were able to get an appointment that afternoon? Like, that is unheard of. If you've done an ortho appointment, it's like a week out. So we were like, yeah, we'll be there. So we get there. The guy's looking at her arm. He's like, yeah, I can see a bump there. She definitely did something. So sure enough, she broke her radius bone in half, completely in half. Now, when she broke her arm 2 years ago, it was the smaller bone, but it was fractured. So we were so happy that was untouched. And it wasn't near her growing plates or anything. It was just like, okay, thank you. So then they're like, you have to go across the street to the ER and we have to do a reduction procedure, which she will be under. Well, this is my allergy child. So now I'm concerned about the medication that they're going to give her to sedate her because I don't know if she's going to have an allergic reaction. And I can tell you, I'm sure the medical staff and the medical field people hate me because I will sit there and ask so many questions and I will continue to sit there and say she is anaphylactic to peanuts, eggs, and Benadryl. And I usually get them laughing. Well, we're not going to give her peanuts and eggs. First of all, that's rude. Don't tell an allergy mom you're not going to give her peanuts and eggs. I know you're trying to be funny. But you would be surprised in some of the products. I have a mom friend that I've known for years, and her kids were anaphylactic to tree nuts. And there was some certain toothpaste on the market, now this was years ago, where she's like, they can't have it because it has a tree nut in it. So it sounds ridiculous, but I don't know what's in this medicine. And the fact that she's anaphylactic to Benadryl, and so I told the nurse that. And she's like, because I asked her, I go, well, has anybody had any anaphylactic to this sedation that you're going to give? And she looked at me like you could tell she was kind of annoyed. She's like, no, we've never had that. I said, it's never happened. And she's like, no, that would be rare. I said, do you understand how rare being anaphylactic to Benadryl is? That is my thing. yes, I understand things are rare, but I mean, we're not the luckiest when it comes to odds, okay? So, praise God, she was okay. I had to leave. I could not see her go under because they explained to me that when they do the sedation, that her eyes would just stay open like this and not blink. Well, if you've seen my past videos about febrile seizure, that's what had happened to her. She was completely still and had that. And I said, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. And I gave my baby some love, and I said, I will see you when you get up. My husband decided to stay, which I'm so grateful, because honestly, I felt like a bad mom, but I still struggle with flashbacks of seeing that. I mean, that just happened the beginning of January, and we're only in March. But I will tell you, my husband came into the waiting room because we had to go in the family room. We couldn't be there during the procedure, which I understand. And he was a hot mess. And he said, and which got me crying, and he said, it's a good thing you didn't stay. She had that same look that she did when she had the seizure. And I was like, oh my goodness. And we just sat there and prayed because, you know, I live by, if you see my other videos, all I can do is my best and God will do the rest. Like, we've done everything that we can, but now it's on him. Like, we just have to trust in him. And so she came out, she did great. They did a splint. So it wasn't in a cast per se. So there was still vulnerability on the left and right side of the arm. So they said, obviously no jumping, no running it up, but be really careful. Like, because they just manually pop the bone back into place. I mean, obviously you can't get it perfectly put back together, but it was put back together. And if it was to get hit or nicked hard enough, it could just pop out again. So we obviously didn't want that. So the whole week I slept on her floor, waking up throughout the night several times because she sleeps all crazy. And so just readjusting her arm just to make sure. If she had to go potty in the middle of the night, I would take her because, you know, kids are half asleep or running into things. So a week later we had her appointment and I was like, please, Lord, just let it be in the same spot so we can just get a cast. So they kept the splint on, and then they were able to cast over it. So even the ortho was like, you know, it doesn't happen a whole lot that when kids come back after a week of having the splint, that the bone stays exactly where it is. Normally there's shifting or it gets knocked out of place because, you know, kids are kids. And so we were just so grateful that our prayers were answered and all that, like, sleepless night. I probably slept like 12 hours a whole week, if that. I was a hot mess. So, for now, she has a cast on for the next 4 weeks. And, you know, there's that one kid that you have in your family that you are just so positive they're going to put you in your early grave. And that, my friend, is this child. I love her wild spirit in her heart. She brings so much joy. But man, she keeps us on our toes. And I'm just so grateful that she didn't re-injure her arm again, because that was she had to have surgery for that one. And I'm also worried about my 3-year-old because he's a little crazy too. And those two together are trouble. But that's what we've been up to the past week. It's been crazy. And listen, kids are wild. They put you on your toes. They keep you on your toes. But you know what? It makes you appreciate when they are healthy. It makes you appreciate when they're running around and acting crazy because they're not in the hospital. They're not injured, you know? And so you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Just love on them. Let them be kids. Let them have fun and just enjoy the loudness and the craziness of each and every day that they provide for us. Because when they're not being loud and crazy, you know, it's usually because something bad had happened to them, and that just breaks our hearts. So enjoy all the craziness.